There's a gold rush happening right now, but it's not for gold or oil. It's for the attention of the next generation of learners. And the battleground is on screens all across China. Today, we're going to unpack this booming market that is truly reshaping education as we know it.
Welcome everyone to the Flow Tao Salon. In this deep dive, we are digging into some absolutely fascinating data that maps out this educational gold rush.
So, where are we getting all this from? Well, our analysis today is based on the 2025 e-learning category online consumption market insights report, which comes from the folks over at Feigua Data. It's a really comprehensive look at market trends starting from January 2021 and even projecting forward to October 2025. So let's kick things off with a pretty big question, just to get us all thinking. What if the biggest, most important revolution in education isn't actually happening in a classroom at all, but right here, on a screen?
And that question, it drops us right into our first section. We're calling this the e-learning gold rush, and believe me, when you see the numbers, you'll understand why. They are truly staggering.
I mean, just take a look at this chart. We are not talking about some slow, steady climb here. This thing is a rocket ship. The market for smart education hardware in China has seen explosive year-over-year growth. It jumped from under 300 billion yuan back in 2020 to well over 500 billion just a few years later. It's just incredible. And the projection for 2025? Get this, a staggering 632 billion yuan. This isn't just about kids getting new gadgets. This signals a really fundamental shift in how families are choosing to invest in their children's futures. You see, a market doesn't just blow up like this on its own. There's an engine behind it, and in this case, it's a huge, coordinated policy push from the top down. As you can see, from the State Council's big AI Plus initiative to the Ministry of Education pushing for data-driven teaching, the government is essentially laying the tracks for this AI and education revolution.
And the technology itself has come a long way. I mean, we've gone from those simple little electronic dictionaries in the 80s to color touchscreens in the 2000s, and now we are squarely in the age of AI. The devices today are packed with large language models, really sophisticated eye protection features, and all the parental controls you could ask for. The hardware is finally catching up with the ambition.
Okay, so the market is huge, the tech is getting smarter, but who exactly is buying all this stuff? Let's decode the modern consumer.
And wow, the demographic breakdown is really telling. This is not an even split. Almost 70% of the people buying these devices are women. What this tells us is that mothers are overwhelmingly the primary decision makers when it comes to their kids' supplemental education.
And where are they living? This graph here, this reveals a really critical trend. Sure, the big hubs like Beijing and Shanghai are important, but the real explosion, the new growth, is happening in China's smaller, developing cities, what are often called the lower-tier cities. Just look at that upward trend line. This is the new frontier for this market. So how are they deciding what to buy? This number just blew me away. A whopping 55% of them say their main motivation for buying was a recommendation from someone else. Not ads, not brand loyalty, simple word of mouth. In this market, trust is absolutely the most valuable currency. Okay, so if recommendations are that important, it all comes down to the product, right? The user experience has to be, well, pretty much perfect. So what do users actually love? And what do they absolutely hate? Let's dive in. This slide just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you've got the stuff parents and kids rave about. Really good eye protection for those long study sessions, tons of rich educational content, and a device that's fast and responsive. But on the other side, you have the absolute deal breakers. Lag that kills the kids' concentration, terrible battery life that cuts learning short, and systems that just freeze up. The basic performance stuff, it's totally non-negotiable. And here you can see exactly how that plays out. Just follow the lines. Good things like eye protection and rich content flow directly to, I'm going to buy this again, or recommend it. But the bad stuff, like lag, goes straight to, no way am I buying this again. The message couldn't be clearer. A great experience creates fans, but a bad one kills your future sales, period. All right, so we know what people want. Now, let's look at who's actually delivering on that promise and how they're coming to dominate the market landscape. So who's winning? Well, it is not a very crowded field at the top. The two biggest brands, Bang and Shu Yishe, together command 50% of the entire market. Just think about that. This isn't a fragmented space.
A few huge players are running the show. And where are people buying these? Almost entirely through official brand stores. We're talking over 95% of all sales. That gives these brands an incredible amount of control over their pricing, their messaging, and the entire customer experience. Their marketing strategy is this really fascinating hybrid. About 60% of their promotion comes from their own channels, which makes sense, right? They control the sale. But look at this. A huge 36% comes from influencer marketing. That's how they're tapping directly into that powerful word-of-mouth effect we were just talking about. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground, so let's boil this all down. What are the 3 absolute key takeaways you need to know from all this data? First off, this market is massive, and it's not just some consumer fad. This growth is being actively fueled by national policies that are pushing AI into education. So the growth here has a really solid foundation. Second, if you want to know where this market is headed, look to the smaller cities. The key person making the buying decision is a female consumer, and the most powerful way to reach her isn't some clever ad. It's a trusted recommendation from someone she knows. And finally, number 3, and this might be the most important one, the product is everything. All the fancy marketing in the world won't save a device that lags or has a terrible battery. The brands that are going to win are the ones that obsess over fixing these core frustrations while delivering features that actually help kids learn. Which really leaves us with this one big final question. We are watching this incredibly powerful convergence of hardware and artificial intelligence, all of it aimed directly at shaping the minds of the next generation. So the ultimate question is, who is going to be the one to finally win their trust?